Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we are going to talk about, it's been long awaited, we're going to talk about the Makeup by Mario brand new Ethereal Eyes eyeshadow palette. Boy, we're going to do a demo. We're going to look at swatches in two different lightings, and I got a little too many comparisons. I try to keep it down with comparisons, but I got a little excited. I will tell you in the demo, I know that, because I filmed the demo already, but I have had so many people intrigued by this and so many people potentially disappointed by this. It makes me wonder. I'll give you, I'm not going to bury the lead. I like it. All right, but let's talk about why I do. Let's get into this. Okay, so this is a multi-finish palette with 12 neutral shades of kind of translucent suede matte. Here, let me show it to you. Okay, so I told you probably it's $68. So we have 12 shades of translucent neutral shades and suede matte that the brand says are kind of grippy. They are, we'll talk about it. Natural metallics and glossy shimmers. These shimmer shades are the first of their kind mixed, I don't know, in a certain kind of way with pearl. I've heard about metallic and shimmer shades using pearl in them before, but apparently this is a brand new, first of its kind formula for the brand Makeup by Mario. And when they say that the matte shades are grippy, I called them in the demo, I think I called them sticky, which unfortunately has a negative connotation, and I don't mean that. There's just something about them, they stick. There's nothing wrong with powder eyeshadows, really there's nothing wrong with it. Some people associate poof of powder into the air with a kind of a lack of a good quality. And that's actually not always the case, to be honest. Powder behaves like powder. There's something about this powder that's just heavier and it feels grippy. It just doesn't poof up into the air. It's a texture preference, formula preference. This is one I like. And the glossy shimmers are indeed glossy. Like as you feel them and as you swatch them, they almost feel wet, but have a very ethereal, translucent quality. Many of you told me, oh my gosh, they just don't show up. They're really just topper shades. They're a little bit more than topper shades, but yes, they are supposed to provide a wet look. Remember, Makeup by Mario, it's really a makeup artist brand, as so many are, but he is still really in practice as a practicing makeup artist. And that is what this is. This is supposed to be kind of a wet look for over the shadows. It is supposed to incorporate. These are not necessarily supposed to be one and done shadows. Doesn't mean you couldn't use the shimmer shades as a one and done with some beautiful mascara and eyeliner. Sure you could, but the whole palette is supposed to be considered as one, right? All right, so in terms of comparisons, boy, where do you start and where do you stop with a neutral palette like this? I started getting a little carried away. I'm going to run through the ones that I grabbed really quickly, and I'll tell you this, purposefully, I did not sit on the floor with all of my collection around me. First of all, you'd never find me again. You'd have to send a search party in, but also because it does get to be a bit much. So I purposefully went with palettes that kind of sprung to mind. And then I took some out. I had the Coffee Talk palette by Sydney Grayson. Frankly, it's just not similar enough. I took it out. I tried to be calm about this and just do the ones we kind of need. But if you need more, over on Instagram, you guys know, those of you that have asked me for swatches before, it's never a bother. It's always my pleasure. The Sephora sale is still on if you're in North America. I understand you need to figure out what you're buying and spending money on. So if you need a comparison that you don't see here, or if you need something up a little closer or whatever, just let me know. Happy to do it for you. But let me show you what we got first of all. First, let's look just at the Makeup by Mario, I should say, Ethereal Eyes eyeshadow palette, first in studio lighting. Take a look at that here. Shows you all 12 of those beautiful translucent neutral shades. They're so pretty. And then, of course, in order to see it in its prime, at its best, to show it off the best way possible, here are the same 12 shades on my arm in the same order, just like you would find them in the palette. Kind of like opening a palette and sticking it to my arm. Here it is outside in the warm California sunshine. Finally cooling down here, that Southern California weather report, but still nice and sunny for your swatches. Okay, now, here's where it starts to get tricky. Where to start, where to stop. Of course, I thought of Biba, of course. So let's go through these real quickly. Here is, you know, the Biba palette, and now you know the Mario palette. Here they are side by side, Mario and Natasha Denona Biba. And here they are on my arm with Mario on top and Biba down below. Now again, these are what came to mind only, folks. I kind of thought, what about that first Patrick Ta palette, right? Okay, yeah, there's some similarities. Here it is, and here's Patrick Ta. The Ta flap opened on me. There we go. Here it is, and here's Patrick Ta, and here they are on my arm with the Makeup by Mario $68 palette on top. And Patrick Ta down below. I did not include the cream liner shades or the cream primer shades in there. If you need that though, just let me know. Okay, now when I first saw this being marketed, I immediately went, Wayne Goss. The topper shades, Wayne Goss, Wayne Goss, Wayne Goss. Yeah, pretty much I still stand by that. So here we go. Here is Mario next to the Wayne Goss Pearl palette. There are not a ton of similarities, but they're certainly there. Wayne Goss, Mario, Pearl. Yeah, I'm going fast, guys. Some people don't like the comparisons, and I want to keep everyone's attention span ready to go. Here's Smoky Quartz from Wayne Goss. Woo! And Mario, Smoky Quartz from Wayne Goss. Don't worry, I have this swatched for you guys. And then remember the very first Imperial Topaz palette from Wayne Goss? Definitely has its similarities. Looks like I need two hands. Here we go. All right. So here we have the Makeup by Mario palette and the Imperial Topaz original palette from Wayne Goss. All right, take a look at these fellas on my arm. On Imperial Topaz, I did leave off the black shade. I was starting to lose space on my arm, and I don't have any running water right now. You'll hear why, honestly, you guys. You'll hear why in the demo, because I do explain it, because I can't stop from complaining, right? Okay, so take a look at those on my arm. We have the brand new Makeup by Mario palette up top, and down below it, from left to right, is the Wayne Goss Pearl, Wayne Goss Smoky Quartz in the middle, and Wayne Goss Imperial Topaz all the way over, minus the black shade. Now I told you that I nixed the Sydney Grace Coffee Talk palette. Let me know if you need it. I held them next to each other and just didn't think they were similar enough. But you know what I immediately thought of was the Tartelette Full Bloom palette. Not everything, obviously. There's a lot of pinks in here. But, I mean, I think there's enough similarities to do it. Obviously, this is the Tartelette Full Bloom. And obviously, this is the Mario. Just take a look here. I kept Mario up on top. And then the Tartelette Full Bloom, most of the shades, but I can't promise you all of them, are below it. Why can't I promise you all of them? I was, you know, no water. Again, you wait till the demo. There's a life update in the demo. Wasn't meant to be a life update. Really just a vent or a rant is coming up to explain that. But these were the ones that kind of just came to me off the top of my head. And really we could put a bunch of Charlotte Tilbury palettes in there, couldn't we? And maybe even that Coffee Talk. I mean, if you leave me here and you guys go make a sandwich and come back, I'll have come up with 3 or 4 other palettes, as will you have, while making your sandwich, that you could compare it to. Happy to do it for you guys, just trying to keep it light and fun, because we really just want to see this palette, know if we should get it. Some of us before the Sephora sale is over, right? All right, as I told you, I do enjoy this palette. Let's go to a demo of me applying it, and then we'll talk about what it is I like about this. I mean, I'll let you know I like it, but why? Stay right there. I have never gotten as many DMs and comments about the intrigue of an upcoming palette as I have about this one from Makeup by Mario. And you know, I share the intrigue. I'm really excited to take a big stab at this one. So I'm starting with a rougher 15, and I'm going to go in actually with this shade right here. And I'm just going to put it all over the eyes. Now, I have had a day, a year ago today, we had a massive leak in my home. And for months, still putting this one on right here, for months we were without water. I'm surprised we didn't move out. We were without rooms. We had big fans in the house and plastic, and it was something. A year ago today. And today, it happened again. Okay, so I'm going to now, as I'm telling you this story, I'm actually going to go in with this slightly deeper matte shade right here, and I'm just kind of chatting with you while we do these boring shades, which are still not, you know, they're not that boring. But so yeah, it's been exactly a year to the day, and guess what happened today? Another leak in another part of the house. The reason I tell you this isn't just to vent, though I need a good old-fashioned vent. The reason to tell you this is also to say that I've had my makeup, including the concealer I put on my eyes, on pretty much all day. I kept meaning to film, still in with this here, and didn't get a chance to until now. So I really need to set that concealer. But other than my lipstick, everything is all still fresh. Okay, one more shade. I'm still using that Ref 15. One more matte shade because these mattes are just performing absolutely beautifully, and so I'm kind of enjoying them. They promise to be kind of sticky, meaning they, you know, stay put, and I absolutely felt that when I was swatching them, and I feel that using them on the eyes as well. And I'm going to take this very clean Ref 27 and just kind of, you know, make sure that there's no harsh edges or anything like that. I think that's actually really pretty. And I'm going to take a rubber number 26 and go underneath with that shade all the way. So far with just the mattes, I am quite happy. Quite happy. All right, now let's have some fun here. I'm going to use my fingers to go into this shade right here and put this just on the center of the eye. And actually, you guys, I could easily have done this with a brush. This isn't going to have any sort of fallout. I'm using my fingers. Why not? But I could definitely have done this with a brush. And I'm going to take the brush we were using and just kind of finish off with it. Yeah, so if I look tense, it's because I have a second leak in my house. Guess what? Guess who has to have their pipes redone in their house at some point, right? Honestly, you guys. Honestly. Okay, let's see. Now I want to go, this probably does need my fingers, but first I'm going to take this little brush here and go into this shade right there and just put that on the inner corner of the eye, just really gently. This is really pretty and very twinkly, just kind of under there, maybe a little bit into the center. And then, I probably should do this with the fingers, but I'm going to go in here and just go underneath the eye with it all the way under, just to kind of add a little bit of light and interest, and because I'm not really done playing with this really pretty palette. How about this one right here? Let's go up there with it and add a little bit of intrigue underneath the brows and just a little bit of holiday sparkle. And there we go. We have basically a finished look done in my typical hurry, but while still having fun with the palette. You guys, I really like it. Okay, let me just tell you a few thoughts here. When Mario came out with his first, I've been reviewing his collections. I mean, you know, I obviously I had the palettes he did, you know, before he had his own brand, obviously. But now with his own brand, I've reviewed it since the start because I am a fan of his work. And I loved those original palettes that he did. And I'm not ashamed to say I was not a fan of the quads he did. I didn't like the way they performed. I just didn't like anything about it. It hurt me to say it, but I was honest. So you can believe me when I also tell you that I am a big fan of these. Some of you had sent me notes and said that you heard or you swatched in store and you were worried about the shimmer shades being a little bit too transparent, a little bit too celestial. I disagree. I mean, I am really enjoying it. I'm not seeing any fallout. Fallout doesn't bother me, but I'm not seeing any kind of fallout. They feel very much like the celestial shades in the Wayne Goss palettes is all I could relate it to. The mattes have that kind of, they're not going anywhere, and I love it. I'm kind of getting, the more I play with powdery shades and the more advancements are made in the way matte shades are produced, I'm preferring a matte that's sometimes kind of a powder to cream. These aren't powder to cream, they're kind of just beneath that, so they don't have that creamy texture, but they really feel like they're not going anywhere and they're not poofing up into the air. Now, there's nothing wrong with that per se. This is just a formula that I prefer. And I have said this to you guys so many times, and I'll say it again. It's not really shade, even though we took forever and did all sorts of shade comparisons. To me, it's less about shade comparison and more about formula. This is a formula that I will keep going back to I can tell you that already. To me, this is a winner. Didn't like the quads, love this. So I'm telling you, I have done a complete 180. I did like his first larger palettes that he did, those metallics and the mattes. I did like those very, very much. And this together, this is a formula I would love to see him keep. These metallics feel as slippery as they look, and these mattes do feel sticky, which sounds negative, but it's a good thing. This is a really, really pretty palette. I am super happy with it. I don't know what others have said. I've avoided reviews, and I don't know what you guys think who have swatched it in store. So you need to tell me, but as far as I'm concerned and for what I look for in an everyday neutral makeup palette, this does the trick for me. I would definitely recommend this. And if you're in the US or North America, the Sephora sale is still on right now, so you can get it. Let me know what other comparisons you need over on Instagram. I did those so quickly, and my water is not on in my house, so I wasn't able to really get them off correctly. I was using makeup remover, so if anything wasn't quite up to par, honestly, I'll tell you, if anything wasn't quite up to par, just let me know what you need over on Instagram. You can tell me here below. Give me your screen name over there, and I'll tag you, or just hit me up over on Instagram. Happy to get you whatever it is that you need. Ask any other questions below, of course, as we are a community, and I want to hear what you have to say. Come and say hi over on Instagram and TikTok too. Give this video a thumbs up. So many instructions. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I sure hope that you enjoyed it. Hey, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that I can keep you in the loop. We got lots of good videos coming up. I got Tom Ford coming up, Lawless. We're looking at some new brands, Semi-Haze to Sephora. Like I said, Tom Ford, Tarte. I'm looking at my pile over there. So many good videos coming up. Victoria Beckham, Lid Luster we got coming up. All sorts of things. I don't want you to miss it. So make sure you subscribe or even join and become a member. But I've taken enough of your time. I just hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.